What's happening, everyone? Happy Thursday night. AirBrush Down and Dirty Tricks here. And we should be good on audio. Yeah. Kelly's distracting me. Sorry. Yeah, audio's good. I'm looking at it right here.
Oh, weird.
Look at the levels, kid.
I couldn't. Oh, it's cut off from me. I can't see.
Oh, you couldn't see it? Yeah, okay. All right, fine. All right, let me start this again. How we doing, everyone? Thursday night AirBrush Down and Dirty Tricks. Part 2 of the Reaper we started last week, and I finished this thing off. Might be a little shorter of a feed. We'll see how it goes. We got audio. Sounds good so far. No one's complaining. We have video. We have sound. I have hit record. Thank you, Steve, for always being the first one, typically, to call that out. And we are good to go. Let's see who we got on tonight. We got some people on Facebook. We got my brother Todd. Howdy, Todd. Got James Ray. Howdy, Ray. Rick Lever. And, of course, we got everyone over on Facebook here. I got 24 here in the house.
Did you say the new Reaper would be included with the set?
Yes. So, this Reaper download, this one, if you go to McKayFineArt.com, and just for a cheap little plug, let's bring that up. Where's my store link? So, if you go to McKayFineArt.com, you can get this vector and any other vector for 20% off right now. Use code Cowbell, because more cowbell. We're going to have more cowbell.
Remember, code.
And yeah, you just got to, at checkout, put code Cowbell, and you'll get 20%. Doesn't matter. All caps are right. Doesn't matter. And yeah, so if you guys want the original Reaper from last year, which has 3 different ones, I believe, plus the crows, the bats, the trees, all that stuff, and then this one is on top of that included as well. Those of you who downloaded the last one automatically got this one. You probably got an email. If you didn't notice the email, if you go through your emails and don't find it, let me know, or just go back to McKayFineArt.com, go to your purchase, and hit re-download. You'll get the whole newest. It'll be re-downloading everything plus this one as well. So let's see. Hey, we got Daniel Powers in the house. What's going on, buddy? Thanks for popping in from Australia. We got Scott Voss, Olin Bite, Aussie Pete, Michelle, of course, Michelle, Fing Z. Who else we got here? Carl Becker, Dave the Bug Gregory, Dan Mayer, JP Taz, Airbrush, and I want to thank you all for popping in. Make sure you share this, like this, do all that fun stuff, subscribe. You know the drill. Helps the algorithm, helps this thing grow. So let us get working on this. So for a refresher, what we did last week, using the same colors as last week. Let me get the paint list up here. There we go, paint list. So this is what we were using for paint last week. And let me bring up the actual project here. So this is what we were at last week. I haven't touched this since last week at all. This is still the same project. I literally didn't touch it at all. We are using a 4011-4020 mix 4:1. I am using the UVLS 4053 with the black candy. And then we use an opaque white and the neutral gray #1. That's all I've been using on it. Obviously I didn't save last week's paint because that would be way too much time. Mixed them up fresh this week. And what I also did is this afternoon I did an unpacking of a new airbrush. So tonight I'm going to break this in. We have the new Iwata Eclipse Takumi. This afternoon I did an unboxing video, so we're going to edit that later. I figured what better place than to use it tonight. So before we start this, let's give this new brush a whirl live. And I'm that confident in it. The brush has never had paint in it. So we're going to, ooh, it's a virgin airbrush, never been touched. No paint's ever been in it except for the test run. And really looking forward to trying this out. So I'll probably just add this to the video before. And when I did the video earlier today, I just did a comparison between all 3 of the Eclipse Moto airbrushes. The HPBCS, the HPBC, and the new Eclipse Takumi. So this will be the first time spraying this brush with any paint. So I figure we'll start easy with it. Let's put the candy black in here. and just see how this baby sprays. Like I said, never been sprayed other than a little test strip. Let's take the cap off. I've already strained this Candy Black. This is Candy Black mixed with 40/50. I'll toss just a little bit of that in. And let's do some basic daggers and dots. We all know that. The best thing to practice with is daggers and dots. So first time spraying, so just do some dots. So trigger down, this is basic AirBrush 101, control basics. Trigger down, pull back for paint, push it back to stop it. Just do a nice dot, even dot. I got the pressure up a little too high, I think. You know what? 40, there's no need for 40 on this. Let's drop it down to 30, because what's happening is we're getting a little bit of push. We'll do some nice soft atomization from a distance. We'll go really far back here. This is probably about 8-10 inches. Nice soft spray. We gotta get a little closer, get a little closer, get a little closer. Pulling back the trigger the same amount actually each time. Getting a little closer. And look at that. Look at the little teeny dots you can do with this. Really nice. We'll do a little squiggle test here. Super nice. Do some nice daggers. Really nice atomization. And we will probably use this for the rest of the project. Really nice control. So, if you notice, I'm getting a little blowouts if I go too hard, a little too slow. So in that case, you can drop the pressure down even more. The nice thing about the new Takumi is it's the gravity feed. So you can run really low pressure like the Microns. And now I can get those controlled strokes a little slower without worrying about these blowouts. But I can of course go higher, especially for a thicker paint, and I can move a little faster and not get blowouts as well at a higher pressure. So you'll find your sweet spot on how you spray. I am going to do a more comprehensive basic intro video, and I'm going to use all 3 brushes so you can see the difference between running a regular Eclipse, the Takumi side feed, gravity feed, and the standard HBCS, and just the pros and cons between them all. Alright, so that's looking pretty cool. Let's get that out of here. The brush has been christened. I christened the Eclipse Takumi 2023 unboxing and first use. Ding, ding. Alright, let's bring this up here. Nope, wrong. I don't want that. I want this. There we go. Alright, so if you remember where we left off last week, let me bring up the reference image here. Makes it a lot easier to see what's happening. So you have our line drawing, which is the one to the left, and then the one to the right is an image I did originally of this image on it was on a trunk lid of a Harley. Let's see what else we got in here while I was looking down. Dan Gover on Facebook. Dewey Dave, how's it going? Hope the move is going well over there, Dewada. We got 49 of you over on YouTube. Mr. Boss. Honey. Hi, honey. London Paint Company. Demetrius Lawton. Lawton? Yes, sorry. Gary She's in the house. Yes, code is cowbell for the discount. We're going to leave that. I think I'll leave that till for the weekend again and just let you guys kind of go through it. That way, you know, if you want to continue this on, you can. Alright, so let's see where we are now. Because if you remember, it's hard to remember where we are. Think back to last week. This was a gradation panel. So we went from like a dark gray to almost a pure white up top. Okay, so behind here, this moon is pretty bright. So I normally make the scythe brighter than anything, but because it's being backlit, it will cast some silhouette. So we are going to keep that. We're going to do some detail in here, be a little darker than the moon. The moon will be the brightest object in the sky, and I think that'll work out really well. Put a little bit of texture in there, and it'll look really, really cool. Oh, do we actually get a bid here? I think we have a bid.
Yeah.
Just confirm that is a bid of 150.
It is.
Awesome. Kaylee's going to notate that. We have the first bid in the house. This will be done tonight. And like I said, for those wondering on the panel, let's talk about dimensions. This is a 12-inch. I've got my handy Truler's ruler here. 12 inches by 14 inches. So we got 12 plus 2. So, and this is aluminum panel, PVC core, which I typically use on these. And always good to go. Okay, so we got the moon here, then we got the cemetery stones here, and then what we'll do is we'll finish off all the little details and really bring all the nuances out once we're done. We still got the hands, all the little details to really do. The only detail majorly we did so far was the face. So what I want to do is I want to work on the scythe, the handle, then we'll do the hands, and then we'll do the stones. We might mix and match a little bit on that, which way we go first, because I always got to see which is on top, which is on bottom, and figure out the best way to go from there. Here I can find my pick tool, which I am missing. I got my eraser, in case we need that. Might just have to pick with this, because I think... Oh, Kaylee, can you go check on the bench and see if the blue handle pick tool is on the bench? Let's see what we got here. Thank you, Tony, for watching me there. We got Lindsay J's AirBrush Studio. How you doing? Yeah, we got some more people on Facebook today. That's cool. Facebook's usually lacking way behind. It's a blue handle with a pick instead of a... It looks like an X-Acto knife, but it's got a pin in it. It'll be on that. If it's anywhere, it'll be on that table. If it's not, don't worry about it. I'll get around it. Alright, so... Oh, so... Good. Kelly found it. So before I go too far, let's get these clouds done, okay? So I want to basically refine these clouds and get them done before I pull any more masking off. And since we're already there with the color tone, I'm just going to use the...
Dave Gregory.
Dave Gregory, thank you, sir. Yay, the crowd goes wild. They need better cowbells. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Alright, so remember last week I used these texture effects to kind of lay out the clouds, and I can go back in now, and if I want to soften and darken them, I can do that, kind of separate them out. And remember, when I do this, I'm holding it off the surface. I'm not putting it on the surface. I want soft kind of control of the stencils. Because if you put it down hard, you'll get a really crisp edge like that. If you hold it off, you'll get a soft edge, but it'll maintain that same shape. Or, you can just go in, and we can softly freehand these. This is with the candy black. You can hit these bottoms. All depends on your preference, however you want to do it. And get some delineation between the clouds. Sometimes I do a mix of both. You know, kind of map it out freehand and then refine it with the stencil. I don't want to lose that crow. And I want to kind of hardline the bottom a little bit, do that kind of classic airbrush cloud shading. Just looks really cool. We can go back in towards the end and highlight it. What I'm going to do for my white, the white's a little thicker, so I could run the Eclipse with it. You know what I'm going to do? Yeah, I'm going to run my micron with the white. This is the 0.23 micron. And we're going to do most of this at the end, but you know, now that that's softened up, I can come in and I can, you know, just kind of hit these clouds and really kind of pump them out. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna do most of that at the end, but just to kind of give you a sneak peek of the process, just kind of work them out and get them to be bright. All right. And then I think for the other brush, I'm going to put that neutral gray number 1 in my other Takumi. And we'll use that. That might need some more reduction to work better out of there, but we'll see. Cool. All right, let's do this. All right, so looking at this, the blade right here is kind of through the wooden staff. So the blade is beneath the staff, so it's going to be shadow around it. And then these wraps are on top, and then the handle itself it will come, you know, kind of second. So we'll do blade, the wooden shaft, and then the ribbons will be last. Okay. Do pearl colors take to fabric? Well, they kind of do. So what I typically would do in the past and use them sparingly, I would put like a ground color down, and then I would heat press the shirt, and then do pearls over that. And then I put a little transparent base over that, just to kind of lock it in. Alright, so we got this. I want to make sure the cloud's a little dark here, so the blade tip pops off. Cool. So see, now that blade is pretty bright, but it's not the brightest thing because it's got a little gray on it. And see right here, I don't have the delineation I want. I'm going to put this back for now. And that cloud's kind of going to go away a little bit, just so I can work it out. And just now I get that separation I need. And I'm going to make sure, I want to put some, whoa, wrong one. I wanted the white. See, mistakes happen. What do? You just work through it. You integrate it. So I'm going to put the white first, and I'm going to kind of add some reflection to that blade. And some like texture to it. And then I'm going to go in with the darker color and darken it up. But I want to get the center of the blade textured up, and I can put some little details like it's been scarred and damaged from years and decades and millennials of use. Happy little accents, exactly. There are no mistakes, just happy little accents. And now I'm going to go through. You know what, I think, I want to see how much detail I can push this Takumi Eclipse down. So I'm just going to do some little bit of shading. almost like, you know, just get a kind of a metallic foil to it, so it's shifting in and out. Did you say millennials? Yeah, I said millennials of you, sorry. Instead of millennia. Make sure we cast a little shadow on that. Steve here. Steve's here. Howdy, Steve.
Just checking in, he said.
Awesome. Thank you for popping in. I know you said you might not be until late, so thanks for popping in and saying hi. Okay, so we got the blade worked out there. Just kind of worked in. Similar to what I did before, I did a different angle. And then I'm going to actually take this guy off and see if we got enough delineation there. I want a little more. And get that. See that edge of the blade. We can do some little accents. Let's pull out Pocket Graphics here. We're going to use the Pyro. And we'll just hit these edges. I'm going to hit the whole bottom edge and drop shadow it. Now I'm going to refine this edge a little bit because I took it off a little too early, but we'll go the other way with it. Just going to hit that, hit along that edge. Just little places where it kind of changes direction. And then we'll hit it with some white. Hit those little gleams. Little bits. Hopefully I don't need to do any print cuts because I don't think I saved my prints from last week. I think I threw them out. Oops. It's alright. We make it work. Cool. You know what? That blade's coming along nicely. Don't forget to make sweet, sweet love to that like button. Thank you, sir. It's a little disturbing, but I'll take it. Cool. Alright, so we got that done, we got that done. So you know, these cemetery stones are actually beneath the side handle, so let's get these done. Okay, so we're going to work again. We're going to work background to foreground. Okay, Eric, go next. I finally picked up my cameo for today. No more fighting with the wife's cricket. Cut the hole. Oh, good, man. That's awesome. I'm glad that worked so well for you. I like the cameo so much better. Really, really do. All right, so what I'm going to do is if you look at the reference image, I'm not sure I can bring it up full screen. No, it's just. Do I have a large reference image? Nope. Thought I did. Sorry about that, but if you look, honey, get the cowbell. Get some cheers. Thank you, honey. Okay, so if you look at the stones, we have the background set of stones, then a more foreground set of stones. So we're going to work the background first, but even each stone has kind of the relief edge, the side. So we're going to make sure we leave those on so they stay brighter. But I think that's how I want to do it. Yeah, I want to make the sides brighter because it's being backlit, even though the moon's at the wrong angle from these. I'm gonna play it that way anyway. I'm gonna make it really dark down here. I'm gonna pull these off. We're gonna put a lot of smoke and stuff down here anyway, so don't.
200.
London, thank you, sir. That deserves a big cheer. Do we have a little? I thought we had some. Yeah, I know. So if you look at these stones, we got little side ridges, and we're just going to take that. And we're not going to do too much here. We're just going to put, like I said, we're going to be doing some smoke. So I'm really just going to kind of darken the edges a little bit, so the mask that creates the side light can kind of show off. And we'll give this, we haven't used it in a few weeks. We haven't used the swirly guy. We're just going to give that a little bit. And we can come in and do a little grass. So you look how tiny these lines are. This is the Eclipse. This isn't the Micron. This is the regular new Eclipse side feed. We're just getting those nice little lines. Create some little grass. Hasn't been mowed in a while. Old cemetery, like the ones around here. And if you can't do the freehand like that, you can come in with a little too strong. That's where some erasing or pick tool comes in. Do a little extra grass. Or maybe even the eraser. Let's see if we can break out the eraser tool. You see how quickly. Oh, that's the Sakura one. That's seen better days. That was a little broken. Let's get the Medea one. Now we can do a little bit of extra grass by erasing back some of that candy black and just adding some dimension. you don't have to go nuts. I mean, the focal is going to be really in here, so don't spend too much time on your background, because you can always cut back in later with it. Yeah, look, we'll do a little writing on the cemetery stones. That littlest bit doesn't do anything, doesn't say anything or do anything, but you know, when you're looking at it in like a show or something, it just adds that extra little dimension. We can do a little highlighting on the stone edges as well. And then we can pull these sides off and see if it's lit enough. I should have maybe put a little bit darker around this top stone, so I may cut back in afterwards with the printout and just kind of back shadow that. But so look, now when I pull these sides, it gives that real nice three-dimensionality to it. And we'll do that again on these bigger ones. But see, just that little bit of contrast, dark to light, it just kind of, it just shows that little, just gives a dimension. So it doesn't take much. Alright, let's do these pieces here. Okay, so moon's here, backlit. So the top will be brighter, will be darker as it gets towards the bottom. This is kind of pointing up. We have a center line up the middle. So I'm going to consider this side the brighter side, because it's also brighter on the stones, just like this. So this side of the monument will be the darkest. Let me make sure behind it is super dark, because that's kind of the cloak of the Reaper. So make sure it's solid black under there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to work the bottom, and then work up from the top, and make sure I have all the shading. So just kind of watch this for any of the little changes and stuff like that. Let's be light side, so this is dark side. I'm going to pull this first. I'm going to pull this first. I'm going to pull the one up here too. So, and all I'm going to do, really simple, I'm just using the candy blacks here. Soft shade, and I'm going to shade underneath here. You know, put a little bit here. I'm just going to follow the edge. I'm going to follow up. Just kiss it just a little bit. Just a little. Very light atomization. And I want to pick the top. See, that's brighter. I'm going to just kiss it a little bit. So when I get to this side, it shows off. Make sure you hit this edge and that edge. Okay, so that's one piece. I'm going to hold off on that actually. I'm going to pull this one. So see how now it looks like this is the light side, that's the dark side. Same thing here. Hit a little here. And if you pull things off too early, you can always use the edge of something like this and cut back in. I'll show you that in a sec. I'm going to just come up here. I'm going to kiss that a little bit. When you pull this off, this will be the brighter side. You'll see that that's catching the most moonlight. And then we'll do the underside here like that. And for this, I'll use an edge like Pocket Graphics. And I'll just hit that because it's not part of the cut. We'll pull this off. And all those edges just work. I'm going to try to not cut you guys off from the look. And again, this is where you can cut back in if you want to come in with an eraser and soften things up. You can scratch it up a little bit. Put some, just a little interest on it and make it look a little old and worn and not so masked. Highlight these edges a little bit. You can even maybe put some cracks in it. I guess we got some breaks. Maybe we'll put a little staining on there, like it's years of weathering, things like that, just to make it a little cool. And I really want it's not delineated enough from here, so I'm going to do that just at the edge of the pocket graphics and just pop that out some more. But pretty easy. Hope everyone's having a good week. Hope everyone's getting ready for the winter blast that a lot of us in the country are getting. I know we're going to get it. I think. Kayla, what are they saying for tomorrow around here?
Oh, -12, I think.
-12 actual temperature.
Was it negative 12? I think it was negative.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold. It's just gonna be cold. Like scary cold.
Yeah, starting low of -12, high of 28.
So the low of -12, high of 28?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And by midday it'll be 7 degrees.
Yeah, it did, exactly. Texture stencils work great on stone, especially like Gerald's. So if I want to put a little bit here, you can add that little bit of texture. The other thing I like to do for that like streaking and staining, take a stencil, spray and move at the same time. You'll get some nice streaking. It's kind of random, but also controls a nice technique as well. Just enough there. I'm gonna do a little harsh shadow down here like this stone. He's really kicking off that one. So now I get that edge. Get this stone. Yeah, we're like -12 straight temp. It's just cold. I know we've done a bunch of cemeteries on different cars, and sometimes we put like if the car's a Dodge, you know, you'd have Chevy and Ford and whatever else car on there. And, we've had sports teams, and you know, sometimes people get creative with what's on there. A lot of times I've done it, and I've actually used the stone for like completion dates of like when we did the car and stuff like that, and used them for that type of markings. Okay, let's get that little pocket graphics out here. And we'll just hit these edges very carefully, and then go in and do a little erasing. And we'll do a little writing. So look, even some of this stuff last week, if If I go hard enough, I can go back in and erase. But it is harder to erase than what's sprayed today. Cool. Most background elements are done. Okay, start bringing up the staff. This is the side of it. Could you do a picture of Pumpkinhead? Like Pumpkinhead from the movies Pumpkinhead? I could probably do that. I'm a big fan of that movie. I actually have a really cool painting from a friend of mine who's no longer with us that did a version of Pumpkinhead that I own. It's really awesome. And a good friend of mine, Tim Gore, was the one that actually worked on Pumpkinhead, painted the real one when he was Stan Winston. Yeah, stop using that C crap. Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna be, negative 12 Fahrenheit, which is gonna be really freaking cold. I don't know if any part of Australia gets that cold, does it, Dan? I'm going to pull all these pieces. Pull everything in here. This is all part of the staff itself, and the wraps will stay to the very end. If you guys in Canada and overseas put temperatures, you gotta say CRF, because 37 and 17, if it's in Fahrenheit, ain't that cold.
Melbourne is in Australia, so probably Celsius.
Yeah. Oh no, I know Dan is Celsius.
No,
you in Melbourne, yeah. But he's from Canada, so I'm not sure what he's referring to, temp-wise.
37 is 98. 17 is 62.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we get up here in the summer. Like,
yeah, that's our summer times, yeah.
Down to like, sometimes we'll get in the middle of summer down to like go from like almost 100, the next day we'll be at like 40.
Yeah. Well, and Australia typically runs opposite seasons from us.
Yes, they do. So right now it's summer in Australia.
Yeah. Dan, you guys are summer now, right?
They are.
Pretty much. I'm asking Dan.
I know, he said earlier, it's the middle of summer here.
Oh, yes. Alright, so what I'm going to do for the wood first, I'm just going to do a coarse shadow on both sides. This side's going to be a little brighter. Coarse shadow, which doesn't go all the way to the edge. And I'm going to do some scratching for like a wood grain. Nice.
That was bad.
Sorry to anyone that's gonna get chills from this.
Oh, God. Oh.
Give it some wood grain.
Oh, Daniel. Our raising point's 32, not 24.
Yeah.
But actually, I saw a good comparison for how the logic of the temperatures work, and it makes complete sense. Celsius is how water feels at a temperature, at a certain heat.
Fahrenheit is
Fahrenheit
air.
is how people feel.
How people feel.
Like the way it feels to a person.
Yeah. So,
and Kelvin is the way atoms feel at the temperature.
Yeah, it's good. Someone explained it too, like they like Fahrenheit better because 100 was hot, 50 was halfway to being hot. 0 was cold. And if 75, you're 3/4 hot.
And 32 you can manage with a sweatshirt at 32.
Yeah.
For us, not for most people.
Yeah, so our water freeze point is 32. Drop shadow where that hand's gonna be.
Yeah, you just said we're 70% water. Are you back to Fahrenheit thing?
Well, my father always hated wind chill temps.
It makes no sense.
Well, my father's an engineer, and he's like, you can't feel. It's not a real measurement. It's unmeasurable, and he's technically right.
No, it is. Like Fahrenheit's the actual temperature, and because of the wind, the movement is what makes you colder.
It makes you feel colder, but you're not actually colder. But I don't know. There's a big difference when you're at 0 degrees and standing still, and 0 degrees and doing 50 miles on a snowmobile. One gets you frostbite much faster, and it's not the one standing still.
Aren't you like, if you're getting frostbite, you're supposed to bury yourself in snow?
Yeah, because it's warmer.
Because once it becomes snow, it won't be much colder.
Yeah, snow is pretty much a constant, like 32, 34 degrees.
Yeah, it can go only a little bit lower than that, but snow cannot go below 0.
Yeah.
Snow probably logically can't.
This is too... Dan, this is too political.
No, I'm gonna be honest, as someone who does chemistry a lot, I'd rather Celsius, but, like, for most practicality.
Yeah. I honestly, since I started doing 3D print work and a lot of measuring like that, I so wish we were in metric system.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to figure things out by tens.
Yeah, in sciences, you only ever use Kelvin or Celsius. You never use Fahrenheit. So, the only issue is because I didn't grow up with Celsius, I can't imagine what it feels like off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't convert fast enough in my head. My father could.
My
father spent so much time in Canada that, he just got used to it.
If I'd grown up in a place that had it, I know that I would get it, but, like, I don't know, because to me, Fahrenheit temperatures feel right because I feel like 20 degrees Celsius is around 50, I think. But, like, 20 degrees Celsius is 68 degrees. To me, 20 just sounds too low of a number for something that feels that warm.
Okay, here we go. I gotta try to read this.
Cold is cold, no matter how you...
Cold is cold. Yeah, it's freaking true, man. Cold is cold.
Can you get the pocket graphics on the...
No, pocket graphics I don't sell on my store. I should stock someone to sell, but it's just easier. They go through all the Iwata distributorship, so anywhere that sells Iwata sells or can get pocket graphics. So in the U.S., I tell everyone to go through Coast AirBrush, coastairbrush.com. I just lost the crown cap for my new Eclipse. Oh well, I have to get it tomorrow. If you're in Canada, I recommend everyone going through Maple. And Australia, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure Airbrush Asylum carries them, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Dan would know if any other stores carry Iwata and Iwata stencils for that stuff. Have I... Oh, a 3D printed metric crescent wrench. Of course I have. Okay. Alright, where were we? Who else we got? Oh, yeah, Rick Fittimore was just over on Facebook. I'm not sure if he's still in. If you are, Rick, how you doing? Hope all is well. Missed doing the shows with you guys because we'd be starting to think about World of Wheels now, but alas, that's not happening. Okay, you. Alright, let's pull these wraps off. Yeah, so yeah, Maple's awesome in Canada. They carry everything. You can get it from Amazon as well. The problem with Amazon is we have no control of what people sell things over on Amazon. Iwata and legit stores will sell it, at suggested, at retail or below. So just to give you an idea, pocket graphics have a suggested retail of $18.95, so 19 bucks. So Co sells it for that or less. Maple sells it for that or less, but obviously with the conversion to Canadian. But I've seen people on Amazon selling them for like $30 a set. Australia Airbrush Mega Store, Airbrush Asylum. Okay, cool. Yeah, man, Donna from Maple is amazing. So nice. I missed her live stream. I think she did, was it today? From one of the shows. So notice I'm pulling these straps off and I'm working from back to front. And it's just easy just to pull them off as I go. So we're going to do some brush work at the end and just get everything punched out. Alright, so we are down to the moon and the hands, okay, and the bones. The bones, look at the bones. So, oh, I missed something in here. This gap is right here. Let me see if I can zoom in on this right here. Whoa. Sorry about that. I just zoomed way out. Okay, so see right here, this finger comes up and over, and these three go down, so there's a gap. So the shaft of the scythe actually goes through here. So from this point over, it needs to be as black as this. Now I'm just gonna take an edge or something. I'm gonna cut that out. And now just repeat that stone texture. And now it looks right. See, easy peasy. Good. Michael, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm glad they get so much use. Everyone has had really good luck with them, which is why I designed them originally. And yeah, I'm glad after all these years. They've been out for a long time. I forgot to pull that rip out as well. I forget how many years ago I developed them. Going on probably 16, 17 years ago originally. Then they came off the market, and then we redesigned them and changed them and added new features just a few years ago, I think 4 years ago. Amazon sold them for $28. I live 30 minutes from the coast to AirBrush, should have gone there. Yeah, so Amazon selling them for a lot more, or the 28 with free shipping, sometimes. Some will do a lot more than that, but I have no control over it because of it's going through third party. Tony over on Facebook said, I got my pocket graphics at Opus here in Vancouver Island. Cool. All right, let's look at these bones. Okay, so I am actually thinking I'm going to swap for these bones. These are so small at this scale. I am going to go down to my micron with the black candy. Well, I'm going to get it ready. I'm going to see how far I can push it with the clips. And this is really small. This is really small. We're going to see how far we can go. I want to really push the clips. Just to show people, you don't need to go spend all the crazy money on a micron. Because I've done most of this with the clips so far. And it's just a matter of getting the air pressure set right. Alright, so let me see if I can get one of these cameras really zoomed in on the hands. It's going to get a little shaky for a second, guys. Sorry. How's that? That's pretty good, huh? Good. Okay. So Sweet. Honey, you out? Have a great night. Be safe. Thank you. Alright, so same thing. I'm looking at different bones. The bones here, when you look at the actual full size, you got the elbow. I'm just gonna shade it just a little bit. I'm gonna pull off. That's the tibia, right, Kaylee? The arm bone? You're doing anatomy, you should know this. So this bone here, Kaylee, fibia or tibia? Tibia?
Oh, up here?
Yeah.
Humerus.
Okay, humerus. Humerus. Sorry.
Upper arm is humerus.
It's so
Fibula and tibia are leg. Ulna and radius are the forearm.
You're saying you're doing anatomy, so you should be able to answer these questions.
Yes.
Perfect. It's perfect timing. I'm going to drop shadow where the cloak comes over the bone.
I've been trying to get someone to do a guitar step by step from a blank to finishing. Would you be interested in doing something on that?
As far as a full guitar step by step, I don't know if I do a full guitar step by step. I'm not really known for it. Artwork wise, I could, but Mike Learn's done some really good ones, so I would definitely look into Mike Learn stuff. He's done them. Because he's actually what's the term for a guitar builder? Luthier? I forget the term. Mike Learn guitars. He does whole series on. He actually teach classes on them as well. I've painted a handful of guitars, but I don't know enough about as far as building them to taking them apart and putting them back together. Okay, so Kaylee.
Yes.
So the two bones.
On the
Radius and ulna?
Radius and ulna, yes.
Radius
ulna is the one touching your, the one that joins towards your pinky. The one that's like on your pinky side, and the radius is the one that's on your thumb side.
Okay, so I'm going to pull the ulna. Shade there. Do a little core shadow. Luthier, thank you.
Actually, did you know that when your arms are relaxed, like your palms are facing backwards, your ulna and radius are actually crossed over each other?
Yeah, they actually.
That's why anatomical position the palms are forward, because that way the bones aren't twisted at all.
Right.
When you're just relaxed and your arms are normal, laying down, they're crossed over.
But as far as like painting an image on a guitar, I'd love to do one. I just don't have one on the mix right now to do. But if someone wants to commission a guitar job, there's always that option. So you can also, before I get too deep, before I do shadowing, I can do just little highlights, which I'm going to do that actually just at the end because it looks better. See, just bring out the shape of the bones. Because, you know, bones basically, for the most part, a lot of the bones are cylindrical shaped. So you just work them like that, and you're pretty good. Now let's pull the radius. Now getting up into the hands, so obviously you have the phalanges, you have the metacarpals? Yeah, it's metacarpals on the... It's metacarpals in here, right? On the...
Your palm, yeah.
Yeah, so the palm, and then we go up to the phalanges.
Wrist is carpals, yeah. And then feet are tarsals.
Feet are tarsals, yeah. So there's a couple here you can pull off. kind of come off in one. And then for the fingers, for each finger,
Sorry.
I start from the lowest one and then work my way up. So we're going on the pinky, we'll start with the front of the finger and then work to mid and then back and then work up, work up, work up and be done. But again, this is literally pull, a little bit of shading, pull, and shade. And pull and shade. And rinse and repeat. Like ultimately, it'll be best to do this image probably double this size. Especially for video. Just because it's so small when we get to this stuff. So I'm actually going to do this one. Then I'm going to actually skip this one and come to the upper because it's behind. And I'm putting the paint really on the stencil.
Do I start at bottom of hand, just curious, or no?
So I, just like everything I do working from background to foreground. So I'm going from the bottom one because the bottom one is under the next one. So it's lower than this one. This one is lower than this one is lower. Realistically, I should have done the pinky, then I should have done the pointer. I should have done the pinky, then pointer, then this, then the middle finger, and then the one next to it right here is what I should have done for the right order. But it's so small, it's not really gonna, I can kind of get away with it. But because I'm on a light color background, I'm working background to foreground. And then working up that way. I'll do it again on this one, it'll make... Yeah, so for this stage, I would love... Because I'm really trying to push the eclipse as much as I can. To be a little bit more detailed, the next one up from here, you would go to the HPC Plus. But this is doing a really great job. And that hand is pretty well detailed. And now I can hit the highlights on those digits. Just those core highlights. And this scale. That works out pretty well. Nice, let's get to the other one. Okay. So, we're going to run the same thing again. So let's double check which finger is which. So, we got our wrist coming down here. We got the radius is beneath this time. So we're going to hit him first. We're going to pull him off first and shadow it. And then we'll pull the Ona. And we'll shadow those just like basic cylindrical shading. Remember, paint on the stencil. The stencil is your friend, the mask is your friend, and let the overspray come off it. Yeah, if I had a blank guitar, I'd be happy to do one. You got one and want to send it and commission a job, be happy to do it. Or if one comes across and the client's okay with it, I'd be happy to do a video with it. They're really no different than anything else. I seal the wood with a nice wood sealer. I prime it with epoxy primer, not epoxy primer, a polyurethane primer like Evercoat Slick Sand. Sand it, then I just treat it like a regular automotive job. It's really no different than a gas tank in that respect. So we got here. I'm going to pull the thumbs in the background here. That little guy. And then the way these are going to work, yeah, this one, the pointer is behind the middle is behind here. And this, and we got the digits here. I'm going to go do the outer guys. Yeah, so we're going to start with the outer, which is that just that little one. Just tap it. The metatarsal, the wrist, then the finger. And just shade it. Now the other thing you can do is if you have two brushes, you can highlight then shade. You get two different results. So you can actually soften your highlight by doing the highlight first. So watch, I'm going to do the highlight first on this hand, and then I'll shade it. So pull, highlight. Then shade. The CS is amazing. This, for all intents and purposes, the Eclipse side feed and CS are the same head. The Takumi is just a little shorter, by actually a lot shorter. It's about 3/4 of an inch shorter on the barrel when you put it next to. So much longer. The Eclipse CS is, but the head itself is identical. The needle size and fluid nozzle is the same. So it's really the same brush. It's just side feed. And it's shorter, so it's just a little different control set. And it's a much smaller body, like the body is smaller around. The CS is my favorite gun overall. It's just my all-around workhorse. Ken, what time is it?
9:08.
9:08.
Oh, Uncle Roger's here.
Uncle Roger. Hello, Uncle Roger, over on Facebook. Thanks for popping in. Hope all is well. I've been asked this by my uncle and many others, especially my family. Why do I always paint skulls? Or don't you get bored of painting skulls and reapers? And the answer is no. Because that, to quote Mike LaValle, that would be like getting tired of picking up $100 bills and putting them in your back pocket. Of course, speaking of that, we are currently at a $200 bid on this, right? I don't think we've gone anywhere from that. And we got some super chats from people, which has been awesome. Thank you very much. You're definitely getting nicer, warmer weather than us. Oh, Mom's here as well. Thank you, Roger. Thank you for popping in. I have a couple Fender acoustic guitars for artwork by Vince Ray. Now, acoustic guitars I treat differently because you can change the pitch by putting the paint on too heavy and things like that. Whereas electric, it really doesn't matter. Not really. So that'll be a different animal. So we're going to hit the highlights. And look, those hands are done. Didn't take long. And all that's left now is the moon. Then all the masking is off. And we can do all the final details. Let's make sure we shade around everything. Check for any loose masking. There's nothing worse. Oh, found one. A little one right there. A little piece of masking. when you go to clear it and you left a piece of mask and then you sand it the next day and that little piece of blue mask shows up. It's horrible. All right. Oh, I ran out of paint. Did I run out of paint? I did. Let's put some more candy in there. All right, let's pull the moon off and see how we look. Make sure we got enough separation everywhere. Like right here, I want to make sure that's good and dark. And then we'll do some brush work, finalize this thing, call it quits. And like I said, this one's still available. This is available for download for anyone who wants to do this or practice this piece, learn from it, follow along. That gets framed out really nice. And for this, now we're going to take some of the texture effects. I'm going to give that moon just a little bit of something. Shadow it up. Not too much, and then we'll go over with some white. Do some highlighting. And really get this thing home. Let's zoom back out.
Ooh, 225 on Facebook.
Oh, we got Rick Lever on Facebook, 225. Can you be here? Put that in the comments over on YouTube so everyone knows what's on the up and up. Now we're going back and forth between Facebook and that. So 225. Within the U.S., it's $20 shipping. And outside, it can be a little bit more, depending where it is. Fortunately, like Australia, it's so damn expensive, I can't even tell you what it is right now. So now I can do the clouds, and because this is not full white, clouds can come over the moon and still show up. And we can highlight the cloak. Shoulder. And this is opaque white. I'm gonna do some of the harsh bright lighting. And then I'm gonna put some transparent base in here and do some soft highlighting. Oh, good trick. I want to do some kind of mist down here. And to do mist, what I do, I drop the pressure down to almost nothing. And I can slowly, when you look at it up close, it's got that foggy feel to it because you can like see the specks of water droplets like it's fog. It's a cool little trick to learn to do smoke. Just turn your pressure way down so it's more particulates going down than spray. Brighten this up. You know what we need? We need some lightning, right? We need some lightning. Ah, Christine's on as well. We got the whole clan. Thank you for popping in. So we're going to have a little lightning. So the lightning source is going to be here. And we're going to make that come down. Go behind this cloud. Because it's going that cloud, it's going to make that cloud brighter. We'll put that glow around the lightning. So typically what I do with lightning, we'll do another one over here. Source, nice and bright. I do one set of lines, I fade it out, like I do just a soft blur. Then I usually darken it once with a candy or tone, knock it back, and then I'll do a brighter line on top of it. And that helps create that, multiple shape electricity. kind of look and feel. Or I'll use a brush. And I'll kind of charge around it and we'll hit a bright spot here. I've done some tutorials on lightning by itself. Just really adds to these scenes like this. Gotta love candy. This is candy black. What I was using. Bright spot there. Cool. Let's get refining on this thing and finalize it. Yo, you guys over on Facebook, if you click the link, actually, I don't know if we have the link. Kayla, you can put the link for the YouTube over into Facebook if people want to click over. Facebook is a lower quality feed. It just chokes off the bandwidth. YouTube has it's true to life, and it's a 4K feed. We're going to give him a bright glowing eye. Just look at that. Just that little bit just changes it. See that? That did. I am using... So this is the Eclipse Takumi, or the regular Eclipse PC. Those are 0.35s. The 0.5 is only on the HPBCS, which is the gravity feed. I mean the siphon feed. I'm using gravity, so those are 3.5s. This is a micron right now, and the Takumi is a 3.5. I'm going to do a little light gleam off this. We'll start wrapping this puppy up. Let's highlight some edges here. Okay, we'll get this stone a little brighter. On that side, you see, just kind of helps it pop off a little bit more. This is where my ADD takes over and I can just kind of bounce around the board. Oh yeah, definitely hit that like button, subscribe, share. We got 63 of you guys watching over here on YouTube. Thank you very much. That's growing each week. And the stats have been great overall. How many people in and out. And the rewatches are great. We're averaging about 1,000 to 1,200 a week of watching, which is great. Which is great for the watch hours, especially. And keep growing this channel. And don't forget to go on to McKayFineArt.com. Use code Cowbell, because it's the Reaper, and you always need more cowbell. Use code Cowbell at checkout. You'll get 20% off all my digital content, digital downloads for the remainder of the week. And just to go over them again, these are the paint lists we're using. So we got the 4011 reducer, mix 4:1 in the 4020. The 4050 is my carrier for the candy, which is the candy black, the 4664. Then we have illustration opaque white and illustration neutral gray #1. That's what we're using for colors. And of course, all our fine brands we use and sponsors and supporters. Of course, Fisheye Filter, first and foremost. Thanks, Ken, for always supporting New Water Airbrushes. Critex Colors FBS. This is, for those who, if you didn't see last week, the masking we used was the FBS blue mask is what we used to cut this out of the plotter. So the question, do I put a pinstripe border on this? And if so, what color? So, Rick Lever, if you're still on, you're the high bid right now. So, the current high bidder gets to pick the pinstriping color. Or if someone wants to come in and overtake it quickly, you can pick the pinstriping color. And we'll do a nice border pinstripe around this thing. After we do some brush work, and we'll call it done. So Fingerprint Custom said green, purple. Now the only person who can decide is going to be right now is going to be the bidder. So Rick, you on? Or are you over on Facebook too? I forgot what your handle was over on Facebook.
Oh, Rick was on Facebook.
I mean, if he was over on YouTube too.
I think he was just on Facebook.
So Rick, if you're still here, let me know if you're still in the house. Purple would be cool. Red would be awesome.
I mean, maybe he's on YouTube, but I haven't seen a message from him.
Yeah. Rick Lever, are you still in the feed? If so, chime in. Let me know you're here. Okay. So before we do this, let's get a little bit of brushwork going here. Oh, Rick Lever is here, and he's saying purple.
Cool.
All right, we will mix up some purple. All right, so let's do. I'm gonna really hit some bright highlights on these clouds. I'm gonna hit these teeth a little bit. Just to pump them out. I could airbrush them, but man, I'd like just doing a little bit of brush work. Especially the skull. It just adds a little texture to it, which is nice. Get that cheekbone to pop. Yeah, you got the Reaper from, I think, last year. Or the year before, Gary. That one's awesome. That's the big one. That was the original download set. Yeah, I love that one. Look at these straps. The wooden tops here. The edge of this. Mr. Leahy, how are we doing, sir? Oh, might add a little bit more of that later. Let's make this white a little bit more transparent. And we're going to put the stripes on this thing. And wrap this puppy up. Like I said, this was originally done FBS Blue. And for those asking, this is on my Vision Air easel. Some clouds, brighten that lightning up. Then to lighten up that forehead a little bit. Oh, I know where I want to put some brush work, especially on these rips. Okay, let me get the purple out. I need one of those little cup breaks, like moments later.
The SpongeBob transitions.
Yeah, I need to get some SpongeBob transitions. There is a nice opaque purple.
Oh, Rick, to comment on YouTube, you need to have an account. Once if you have a Google email, you can just make one really easily.
Yeah, you just
it's totally free, and then once you make an account, you can comment.
Yep. Purple, 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 purple. Come on, blue. Red, violet. So I'm going to just mix up a color. So what I'm doing off camera is I'm mixing up some illustration magenta, some opaque daylight blue, and I think I'll do a little bit of opaque white for coverage. And that should be a good purple. There we go. Yeah, I think that'll work. You know, it needs a little bit more blue. Just mix on the fly. It's a custom purple. There we go, that'll work. That's a good purple. All right. Tape, 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 tape. Let's see what we got here. Take this down, some purple on. We'll do a nice like 16th inch stripe, pinstripe. I know quite a few people downloaded this. Love to see what you guys pull off. Oh yeah, when I mix those colors like that, if it's for a customer job that I'm going to be on for a while, I'll measure the color and make sure, or at least notate which colors I used, so I have a better chance of actually making it match down the road. Alright, I'm going to take some wider tape and we'll do the old, you know what, I don't want to risk that. We're going to take the good old maskers. What'd you miss? You missed the rest of it. Now we're going to put some pinstripe on here and then do some final detail and brushwork and call this thing done. These maskers are like literally my favorite thing. Yeah, I need those. I need to get those clips, or at least the audio clips, so I don't get. I probably won't get. I don't think you'll get demonetized for using the SpongeBob's Moments Later, as everybody does. But I don't want to risk it. Can't put one past you, Dan. Alright, let's put this striping color on here, make it a little easier. I'm just going to do an even coat of white. Gonna make the purple pop a little easier. Won't have to try to fight with the contrasting colors. Just going to use a straight up Eclipse. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. So Rick was so far the highest bid on this. So he picked the purple color. But we are still taking bids as we continue to wrap this thing up. Oh, these maskers are the best, man. They really are. Oh, now I gotta clean 4 airbrushes tonight. Ugh. Alright. Time for Christmas. You know what? Let's pull the outer ones off first. So you have... Oh, I have to fix that. I forgot it's gray on the outer. Haha, I gotta fix that. We're gonna have fat stripes on the outside. So I forgot I changed that midstream. Easy fix, easy fix. That would look weird. So I'm glad I didn't pull that first. Nice thing about the opaques is they cover. Sweet. Alright, now we can pull that. We have a white edge. That's alright, Rick. If you're not over on YouTube to comment, it's fine. I got you here. You're good to go.
Daniel's laughing at the fact that Steve's YouTube is Stephen Leahy.
Why is that funny?
Because it's just so formal.
It is very formal. I am Stephen Leahy, micro artist extraordinaire.
Steve said, I know, I always feel like I'm in trouble when people call me Stephen.
Yes, because we know your name is Steve. Always Steve. And it's always in the monkey voice. Alright, now it's like Christmas. Ooh. Ooh. Look at that. Nice and clean. A little funky right there. I gotta fix you. Hold on. Hold, please. A little funky. Ta-da! That's a pretty cool piece.
I like it.
If I do say so myself. Yeah, this was a fun one because this Reaper's fun because you can manipulate him quite a bit. You can change the cemetery placements, you can change the sickles. With this download, you also have all like the really twisted trees. If you're on a black panel, it would be great because you can actually put the twisted trees down first and have them silhouetted along with the cemetery. So that'd be really, really cool. Yeah, so this is a really fun project to work on. If you're new to airbrushing and you're still struggling for fine detail, I would probably do this a little bit bigger. This is 12 by 14. I would probably go at least 50% bigger with it. If you're starting out. I would have liked to go bigger with it easier, but it's just hard to get it done in the time frame the bigger the painting is, so I usually try to work in this size range. I'm going to go in, just add some more folds to the Reaper, tighten up some of the drop shadows. Yeah, the purple really makes it stand out. Yep. And then when it's cleared, it's going to really pop like crazy. All this little detail is just going to pop. Nice outline. Been great if it was actually pinstriped. Yeah, I don't care about doing... I'm going to tell you a little secret. 90% of pinstripers, when they do straight lines like this, tape them off.
Yeah. That makes sense.
We do it all the time. I actually brought a pinstriper in to do some work for me once on a whole bike because I wanted hand done. I didn't want it masked. He brought it back to me and it was all taped. So I'm like, I could have taped and sprayed it. I wanted the imperfection of hand done. But straight lines, tape it. But see, like I said, this is where now you can just go in and highlight and shadow, highlight and shadow. A lot of times with stuff like this, I would, you know, clear it and then go in for some brush effects and some extra effects. Because a lot of times I'd clear these twice if this was on a motorcycle. So I'd clear it, check everything over, and then kind of rebalance everything out with some extra details on the, you know, before the final section of clear is done. But I'll put little rips and tears, little holes, and little just pick marks and things like that. Just to see. Cool. Well, I think on that note, I'd say we're going to say the Iwata Takumi Eclipse, the regular Eclipse, does a damn fine job of really fine detail. Really nice control. Super stoked how it performed tonight. Like I said, this was literally the first time I ever put paint in it. So I just used it right out of the box. I filmed the box opening, kind of unpackaging today. That I'll edit down later. And I'll probably use some of this video to show off how it sprays. This is pretty awesome. And we're going to wrap this thing up. I want to thank everyone for popping in these past 2 feeds. And now I got to think up next week's feed. So we'll see what that works out. Thank you everyone for popping in this evening. Hope you all have an amazing weekend. For those of you up in most of the U.S., upper in Canada, stay warm. Keep your pipes warm. Don't freeze them. If you have vacation houses, go up and open those faucets up just a little bit so they don't freeze. Don't get caught like that because that's a horrible thing. So, yeah. Let's stay warm and healthy, everyone, and I'll see you all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Have an awesome time. Thank you for checking it out. Peace.